everybody, it's Kristen with Soul Therapy, here with the last video in three-part series of using your triggers to heal old beliefs. Everything I have said in the last two videos is what I use step by step with examples, of course. I try to give you a lot of visuals because I know it helps some people, but I know it also helps others to feel like they're getting a connection, that there's somebody talking to them and understand what they're going through. I absolutely understand what you're going through, and that's why I'm bringing this process to you. I like to offer these techniques in both blog format and video format for anyone who'd like to practice self-healing, which I advocate for greatly. I do recognize, though, from being there, that sometimes you feel like you're so deep in, you feel like you need someone to assist you. And that's what I think a great therapist would do, is help you, guide you, and support you through a healing process. That being said, let's get into it. Once you have successfully identified the belief underlying your trigger, you're now ready to embark on the remaining 3 steps in the 10-step process to using your trigger to heal old beliefs. I call this process, What is the Truth? A journaling exercise to locate and heal old belief systems. You guys, I just used this today. When we are triggered, and a trigger could even be feeling like somebody's judging you, or feeling as if you've been unjustly treated. Let's say, for example, you're at work and your idea gets passed up for someone else's idea, or somebody else seems to get more recognition for something than you do, and you're like, I don't get it, my idea was better. And then your mind starts to go off to make logical reasoning out of that. That is what you want to follow. Where is your mind going to make logical reason out of that? And you'll find you have to look for a reason as to why it's happening in your reality, an outside reason. And usually your reasoning comes from the experiences that you've had in life, witnessed, observed, that have led you to make a generalized statement about what happens. And these are what's called beliefs. These are your belief systems. Some of them we recall creating, and others are more subconscious. Others are unintentionally created from repetition of experiencing something over and over. But obviously, we would not repetitiously experience anything over and over unless we already had a belief system to support that and create it within our reality. So it gets kind of complex, and I think I will definitely do a video in the future on how that works. But just to stay true to topic, you're now prepared. Once you have identified the belief underlying the trigger, you are now ready for this journaling exercise. Here you will be coming from a broader perspective, realizing that someone can say something messed up to you. You can allow that to bother you, or you can allow it to inspire you, or you can allow it to roll off your shoulder and mean absolutely nothing. It's really up to you. I'm sure there's like 1,000 other different perspectives in there. And part of the victimization perspective, one of its wonderful characteristics is that it keeps us from growing. When we realize that we are the source of everything in our reality through our perception, that is so empowering. There's no victim in that statement. You start to look for the opportunity, look for the good in every situation, which is quite profound once you get the habit of it. And then you start to see your life change before your eyes and start to reflect the life of those people that are out there getting it and loving life. You're like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he so happy? Because he gets it, you know? So step 1. Take your power back. Assert to yourself, the trigger object is not making me feel anything. The feelings come from me and me only. The object is triggering my own feelings about myself or life. It is bringing up for me that somewhere within myself, when it comes to security, I believe I am a failure. I believe that I'm not good enough, and I believe that I am inadequate and lack the ability to provide security for my family. During this step, you may notice something click, like a light bulb go off. It's interesting when you are removing the victim and empowering yourself by telling the truth of the situation. No, this is not what's happening. It's not because I am a woman in the workplace. It's not because of my race. It's not because of my disability. It's because of my thoughts about what people think. Because I think these things deep down. Oof, it's gonna trigger people. Oof. That's a triggering concept. But once you remove those chains and you allow yourself to think as an empowered person who's perfectly capable, you realize they are not doing anything to me. I could completely perceive this in a totally different way. I am choosing to believe these things about myself. Which brings us to step 2. The healing comes with realizing that the lie is not true. It's an illusion, a story you've created and added to throughout your whole life, ignoring all that was in opposition to the story and using anything that supported the story as further validation. Let's say that you have a belief that no one's interested in what you have to say. I know my son struggles with this. All of us struggle with this. We don't feel heard. We don't feel like we're being listened to. So let's say we're at work and we're in a group discussion. The boss is looking for ideas, solutions, suggestions, opinions on how to improve a process. Everybody starts, all over the room. Well, I had an idea that we could X, Y, and Z. And as you're on the word Z, the perfect person in the office says, well, I think blah, 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 blah. And the supervisor looks, that is a great idea. And then somebody else says, well, somebody else takes that girl's thing and elaborates on it. Like, I like this. Let's write this down. And you, in your triggered moment of being ignored because you have a belief system that people don't listen to you, just got validated. People don't listen to me. And you want to think about to yourself, well, why don't people listen to me? I don't know. Maybe I'm not pretty enough, or maybe I'm not loud enough, or maybe my ideas suck. Maybe I'm just stupid and I shouldn't be doing this job. Maybe I need to go work at Walmart or something. I might be working at Walmart next week. I'm just saying. The point is, we start attacking ourselves. We start with the negative self-talk, and it really starts to say, okay, if that's what I believe, maybe I'm not, excuse my cat. I mean, really? The timing. I'm like, oh my God. Triggered. But in that moment when that's happening, you forgot that just yesterday you were on the phone with one of your friends who was going through something and you gave them advice. Or maybe last week, a coworker came to you and said, hey, I've been trying that process you told me about to do on my computer and it is saving me so much time. Thank you so much. You delete. It's not that you don't know it happened, but when it comes to forming the belief system as a whole, you delete or extract the things that negate that belief system because it's important to you to be right about that. This is your identity. This is who you are. And we can even get into the fact that once you create that belief system and you're validating it, why do you continue to validate that negative belief system? Why do you have to be right about that? But we're not going to get into that today. For the sake of time, let's keep this short. Step 3. What is the truth? Write down a brainstorm, a rant, a list. Jot down any time, situation, anything that you can remember that is in the slightest opposition to your triggered belief about yourself or in opposition to the story. If your belief system is a table, and each one of the legs are the validating experiences or thoughts that you have that support that belief. Every memory, every thought that supports the belief, most common belief in the world, I'm not good enough. Go to each one and change it in your thoughts. Think about, Well, I'm not good enough because when I have an opinion, nobody wants to listen to me. Well, that's not true. The truth is that some people do listen to you and some people don't. The people that resonate with what you're talking about do listen to you. The people that do not resonate with what you're talking about may appear as if they don't listen. Sometimes people are listening and don't acknowledge that they're listening. Sometimes you give a person advice and they act like they're not interested or they don't agree with it, and then they go home and they actually, think about what you said, and they're like, you know what, she had a point or he had a point. And you can't always assume what the outcome is or how people feel. You can never assume to know how people feel. Even if somebody directly tells you, I don't like you, they're most likely saying, I don't like something about you that reminds me of my inadequacies. You can't take things at face value when it comes to talking to people. They're so multidimensional. So just understand that your perception is showing you what you think, not what the other person thinks. It's a reflection. So then you want to take step 3 as an opportunity to knock down those legs of that table and rebuild the table with legs that support the new belief system that you want, which in this case would be, I am good enough, right? So let's use the running example that I have been using through the last 2 videos and now this third one. I'm going to write a rant, a brainstorm, a list. I'm just going to get my journal and I'm just going to start writing. I'm going to write anything that comes up that is in opposition to the negative thoughts that support my negative belief. Prove myself wrong with the truth. So here goes. When I decided to change my life, I made the changes I needed to make on my own. I did things most people do not have the strength to do. I pushed through and achieved my goals in the face of doubt and fear alone. I worked hard every day so that I could continue to make more money and achieve my goals. And I did that. I am smart, powerful, hardworking, and helped my old boss succeed. As you're writing, get into as much detail as you possibly can. Really dig deep within yourself to pull out that information and to find the proof and to write everything out. Writing is an ideomotor response. It goes straight to the subconscious mind. So make sure when you're writing and you're thinking, your emotions are getting involved. Emotion, heart, and mind together. That connection makes reality. So when we are using the heart and the mind to access memories, to access the truth, and putting them down on paper through an ideomotor response, there's a lot of healing happening here. Permanent healing. As long as you keep up not allowing yourself to be a victim in this particular situation. So continue writing until you begin to notice a shift in your vibration. Typically, if you're looking at the emotional tone scale and you're identifying which emotion or which color you feel in this particular situation that you feel triggered, judged, victimized by, that's usually going to be a low vibrational color. So what will happen is while you are knocking down the legs to the old table and putting in the supportive legs of the new table that are the truth, are not victimized statements. They're empowering statements. It gives you the power to say, they don't think I am not good enough. I think I'm not good enough. I've built this belief system. I built a belief system that says that I have to get money from somebody else in order to support my family. They didn't do that. I can go out and I can create a business. I can search within my past of the last however many years and find plenty of situations that prove that other people thought I was good enough or that I think I am good enough. This is BS. I don't need to think that. I don't need to feel that, and I'm doing it to myself. Just go into detail about that, and what you'll start to see is that your frequency begins to raise. It may raise from victimhood or worthlessness to anger. Anger is more empowering, you know? It may go to blame. It may go to negative, but not worthless. It may go to boredom. I'm sick of talking about this. This is stupid. I know that I'm good enough and I'm done with this exercise. Boredom is good because boredom is neutralized. You're finally at a place of neutralization where you no longer feel bad, you no longer feel good, and that's where the alchemy is. That's where the change happens. And that's the light bulb I'm talking about. When you start to notice the shift in your vibration, you know that you're onto something. You know that you are creating change within the subconscious mind. And the idea is to keep writing and keep going until you surpass boredom and you go into positive thinking. And then eventually, belief, expectation, high expectations, hopes, a vision for the future, something more positive. When you finish this exercise, you should feel not like a victim, super empowered, and just really good about yourself in the situation. And that's when you know you've made a change. Now, this change does take time to take place. It needs more validation. It took years for you to create a belief system. It did not happen overnight. So it takes time to train yourself to remember what you wrote down. Remember what the truth is, okay? And then use it every time this trigger comes up. You just pivot. That's not true. I know I'm being triggered right now. I know this triggered is showing me that a belief is coming up for healing. I know the belief because I did the exercise, and I've already established what my new belief is. So I'm just going to use what I know to be the truth and replace it with this every time I get triggered. And pretty soon it has no weight, and it just doesn't. Not only does it not appear in your reality anymore, but situations that evoked those feelings, even if they do appear in your reality, you don't notice them, they get deleted. So let me show you what this might look like. I've taken control of my life, and I am no longer the young girl that I am so used to being. I have stepped into fear and discomfort to stand up for my dreams and desires. I am finding the truth and power through self-love and my own bravery and actions. I am where I am today because of me. I chose to not allow anyone to have power or control over me. I chose to believe and to know that I have the ability to provide security for myself and those that I love. Every day I'm working hard for myself, for my goals. I chose to leave that job because it was no longer in alignment with who I realized myself to be. And that is the truth. Be sure to end your rants whenever you're ready with the exclamatory phrase, "and that is the truth." Okay, lovies, so that's it. That is the end of the 3-part series, how to use your triggers to heal old beliefs. If it helped one person, that was my goal. Definitely use this. You can always call me or email me if you need a little bit of guidance with this, or you want to take it off the ground, but you just don't know how to just get started, or you have any questions about the process. Whatever it is, I am open. I am not a judgmental person. You can just come to me with anything, and I will give you my most authentic and honest opinion. And I just hope it helps somebody. So stay tuned. I have some really cool projects coming up. The next one, oh, you know what? Let me surprise you guys. So I love you all. Bye.